Hello everyone, I'm V the Amazing Greek. Thank you for joining me. We are continuing with our series Essential Zombie Gear. Today we'll be discussing machetes. Machetes are a gardening slash brush clearing tool that's been around for a long time. The zombie genre feels that this is a good weapon to have when facing the undead. It's been proven in combat to be a very lethal weapon. All you have to do is read some of the history of Africa, South America. These weapons have been used to brutalize and terrorize people. In fact, right now in Southeast Asia, militant Islamists are actually beheading people. I believe it's the Buddhists, the reports that I've looked at and some of the research I've done into actual decapitation with these tools. There are pictures of some victims of decapitation in Southeast Asia. I'm not going to post them in this setting because it would be a little rough for the kids thinking, oh, zombies, and then see actually somebody's fucking head cut off. Plus, I think it'd probably get flagged by YouTube. But anyway, all right, we're going to discuss 4 different ones today and talk about the pros and cons. First one, and you'll have to excuse me, I'm on the process of putting a handle on this. This is a homemade job. This, as far as a utility tool, is amazing. It's 1/4 inch steel, has a 10.5 inch blade. This one is awesome. I use this to split firewood all the time, put the wood, baton it. It's very strong, very dangerous. The short length of the blade, in effect, gets you closer to your target. So basically going for a neck shot, which is what the machete would be used for. The steel of a machete is good for slicing cuts and things like that. This being 1/4 inch may penetrate a skull, but that's not what the purpose of the machete is. The machete is a decapitation tool so that it can slide in, sever the spinal column. You sever the spinal column, the body does not get the signals, and you've effectively disabled that zombie. And of course, if popular theory myth holds true, you don't want to be anywhere near the mouth because it'll still bite at you. And if we hold with our theory that weaponized rabies will be the cause of this, possibly, it won't take much. So you don't want to be that close with this. It's a good tool for what it is, probably not zombie situation. Our second one, another homemade job, but they sell these, is the kukri machete. Now this is a 13.5 inch blade. We get a little more reach, and the good thing about this version is the heavy hatchet chopping ability. This one will probably sever the spinal column. A lot of weight, but it being that it is again 1/4 inch steel, it's very heavy. You may get a little bit tired. This style right here, you'd most definitely want to have a lanyard, and then when you come in, you want to try to sever the spinal column. Not too bad. Now the next one's a good one to get. This is the Ontario Knife Company military issue machete. This has a 16 inch blade. It has a 2 inch flat at the base here. This isn't blade, but you don't want to be this close anyway. Feels real good in the hand, light, can maneuver with it. It has 1/8 inch high carbon steel. It's powder coated so that it won't rust. And the only drawback to this machete, and you'll realize it as soon as you hold it backwards, they made it flat down here, so a lot of hand fatigue when you do a lot of work with this, and it tends to give you blisters. So mine needs to be modified, and if I was going, well, no, I need to put sport tape around these for a non-slip grip. But this is a good machete to have, strong, durable. With the machete, when you start chopping through bone and stuff, you will have to sharpen these more often than you would, say, a heavy-duty, maybe combat knife. Now, the good thing about the military machete by Ontario, you get the hard shell case. It has holes in it so that when you're treading through high water, things like that, when you come up, it's not full of water. The water has these holes to drain out. Also, a neat feature, this right here is a sharpener. Like those sharpeners you put your knife in and you draw, it's built in. So you can put your machete away, and then when you want to use it again, you tilt the sharpener up, and you just fine-tune that edge. Now, of course, that's not going to take all nicks and dings out, but once you do that with a good stone, you're good to go. This is a very good machete. This, what did I pay for this? $15 and maybe another $10 for the hard shell. Not bad. And of course, we have a cold steel Magnum kukri machete. This has a 16.5-inch blade corduroy sheath, so again, it's not going to retain water. It has the hard shell tip so that you don't penetrate through when putting it up. The good one about this, it has the good qualities of the kukri with the heavier end, and with the blade being curved, we simulate Japanese style. You know, you have that cutting surface like the Japanese weapons do. Of course, then we come up here, that's for different purposes. But this right here, you have a good reach, you know, within arm's reach, and then some, right to the neck. Disable the target. This one, it doesn't have a sharper on it, but it doesn't take much with a good stone. You should practice how to sharpen knives, machetes, things like that, because you don't want to get in a situation where, like, oh crap, now I'm using them all the time. They're dull. What am I going to do? The thin qualities of the machete, which make them good for cutting and chopping, also tend to leave them liable to the cutting edges wearing out a little bit quicker with heavy, hard work. So there's a couple options. There's a lot out there. You do not want to buy, say you go to your local Wally World and buy the $8 machete. That is garbage. I mean, that's good for clearing a few limbs around the yard. That's it. My brother, Phil, he bought one of the Gerber machetes that had the saw back. The saw worked excellent. I was very shocked at how good that saw was. The handle was excellent, but when you go to sharpen that steel, there's something about that steel that's not so great. I don't recommend that. That's only because I've used it and I've used the others, and if I'm going to get one, it's going to be this. And I actually intend on getting a couple more of these, and that's our basic coverage of that. So something to get in your gear. Be prepared for that fateful day if and if it ever does come. So thank you for joining us.